What is up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Pete Gottschalk, doing my annual spring training Q&A for y'all. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. What is up? Welcome back. Pete here. I posted the other day on my Instagram story for y'all to ask me some questions about videography, career, whatever it be. And I said to not ask me about how I got my job with MLB, because there's a video coming out on that soon, and then also what camera I use. But I should not have mentioned that because so many people thought they were so funny by saying it, and it wasn't funny, man. It wasn't funny. I'm trying to make a video here. I'm just kidding. It was kind of funny. Let's get into the questions. Maddie LeRae asks, favorite lens to use for all purposes / situations. My favorite lens, I'd say, for all situations would be what you're watching this video on right now. A Canon 24-70 f2.8. I think it's great. It gets wide enough. It gets tight. If you're in like a moderate situation, it's a good lens. Zach Gardner 22 asked, what got you into sports video / first video made? Well, Zach, back when I was a kid, like 10 years old, I used to make Lego animations, like with clones and stop motion, things like that. That's what first got me into it. Put it down for a while. It was, played baseball, basketball, that stuff as a kid, and then got back into it my senior year of high school. Went out to the golf course after I bought a camera with my buddies and just messed around, and I loved the process of just like telling a story and editing and filming. It was really cringe video, but it was fun, and I loved the process of it. So that's what my first video, I guess, would be. BenBarchi.media, I don't know if that's BenBarchi.media, asks, favorite event you've ever shot all time, game, concert, etc. 2021 NLCS between the Braves and the Dodgers when they went to the World Series. And every champagne in the locker room situation I'm in tends to be like amazing. So I love that. Dave_Levinger. Shout out Dave, comments on a lot of my stuff. If you could hang out with any athlete for 24 hours, who would it be? That's a great question. I would say, I'm assuming you're saying dead or alive, probably Jackie Robinson. I figured that would be like, the stories would be insane. Billy Mulroy, 1, asks a bunch of questions, but I'm gonna pick a couple here. Least favorite US founding father? I don't know, James Madison? He also asked Durant or Tatum? Right now, I'd say Tatum. Final question from Billy that I'm going to pick. He asked about 12. As a video editor, whose work do you admire? What do you like to watch in your own time? Someone I really admire is Aaron Rollo, I think is his name. He makes like commercials for ESPN and Monday Night Football, and he does like a mix of 3D and Blender and stuff like that, and it's honestly fire. So I've been trying for the last year and a half when I have time to work on 3D and stuff like that. I am Ben Lerner asks, are there general music guidelines for MLB content, copyright, profanity? Yeah, this is a tricky one, and we deal with it all the time. We use APM music for like any edits or videos where we do need like a song in the background. I highly recommend, if you're a content creator or someone who shoots video or edits video, to get like a licensed subscription, whether it be APM or Soundstripe, but that's what we use. We use APM. Yeah, I mean, any popular song we struggle with posting. We try to stay away from that. Ricky Gutierrez Mahana, I don't know. I'm probably butchering that big time. What do you enjoy most, besides filming, about working with MLB? I'd say one thing I really like about MLB, besides like the actual work part of it, is just the travel. It's a perfect job for for like my stage of life right now. I don't have a family, so the travel, the late nights, the travel perks, things like that are great for me in this stage of life. Ben Carmichael _ asked, do you ever cover Blue Jays games in Toronto, Canada? No, Ben, but that is on my bucket list. I'm close to a lot of people who work with the Jays, great organization, and I want to shoot there. I think it looks like a great atmosphere. Nathan R. Shaw asks, go-to angle when shooting cinematic, and what's one story you hope to capture? Go-to angle for shooting cinematic, I'd say, I don't really have one, but like mixing up your angles is very important, and also shooting low. The lower you shoot, the bigger the athletes are gonna seem. They're gonna seem larger than life, so try that. I mean, the difference between shooting football or soccer when you're standing up and then on your knees with a camera on your shoulder or on a hi-hat is like insane. Always shoot as low as you can for the most part. D.shooter_, who was / is your current role model? My current role model is actually my mom. It's not videography or professional based. I think she raised me in such an impressive way by herself for the most part, so if I can be even like half the parent she was, I think that is something that I aspire to be. Rover Tyler or Tyler Rover asks, tips for learning picture profiles and color grading. If you want to shoot in log and add that on the backside of your post-production kind of experience and workflow, do that. I think if you expose it correctly, it gives you a lot of flexibility when it comes to coloring. You can do creative, you can do like a more standard color profile, and it just looks better when you color grade it. But if you do not want to add that, shoot in like a neutral color profile. And like when I mean my neutral is not like a log, but like a Sony neutral, which is going to be a little less contrasty than like the Sony standard, because Sony standard can get really contrasty and it's hard to work and color grade out of it. Starks shot it. How do you handle burnout from work? That's a great question, and I struggle with this all the time. We all struggle with this just because of the nature of baseball. It's so many games, and it's such a long season, especially in the hot summer months, September and August. I think one thing that someone taught me, that someone is Kevin Lyles, the Braves team photographer, is to always shoot as tight as you can if you're getting burnt out and you want to mix it up. Shoot details, shoot people putting on gloves, cleats, shoot fans tight up, emotions, cheering for their team, jewelry on players, things like that. Shoot little things like that as you get a lens, get as close as you can, get as tight as you can on telephoto, and just shoot the details of the game, because those are oftentimes missed by most people, you know. Nick_Jones26 asks, do you need to be a college student to work for a college as the team videographer? No, I know a lot of people that shoot for colleges they didn't go to. They probably work for the college. But if you're in high school still, I think that becomes kind of convoluted and that might be a little harder to get a job. Arthur is traveling. Favorite sport moment you filmed? Favorite sports moment I've filmed? Probably recently, the Rhys Hoskins 3-run home run in the DS against Atlanta was absolutely insane moment. The crowd just erupted where I've never really seen it like that. And then also the Tyler Matzik strikeout in Game 6 of the NLCS was incredible. Rally visuals, shout out Rally, I love his stuff. When you need to work quick, will you switch to Rec 709 for faster/easier color grading? Yeah, I shoot on Rec 709 right now actually, just because we do need to get our content out fast live. When we do shoot log, that is like for YouTube originals or TV spots or things we need to kind of, you know, match with other color profiles from other cameras, or like it's a more production based setup. Videography asks, how do you get rid of your boss? That's a joke. Gabe.film.it. How do I get into college sports photography as a high school student? Videography and photography are about the same. I think there's probably more photographers. It's harder to get into the game as a photographer just because there's so many more. It's easier to get into photography. But Gabe, I'd say just shoot as much as you can. Shoot your high school team for free. Shoot, you know, your girls basketball team, boys basketball team, football team, whatever. Everyone loves the free content. You're gonna have to do it for free at first. Go do that. You could shoot for local youth teams. Ask the coaches and the parents, of course. But just build up your portfolio. Shoot as much as you can. Shoot your family road trips. Get a camera in your hand as many situations as you can and build up that reel. Dasha_E asks, how much can you earn per day as a sports content creator? That's a tough question to quantify because, you know, paid on a project basis for the most part, or like I'm paid a salary. Project to project, like when I started out doing sorority videos in college, or like wedding videos, I did them for like $250 or $500. And then slowly, like as my junior year and senior year of college came around, I was able to charge like $1,000. And then after college, I was able to charge, you know, $1,500 to $2,000 for stuff like that. So when you do a project like that for, you know, one day of work, that kind of is your next 2 weeks. So, you know, I mean, like if my salary balances out, you know, like a couple $100 a day, I guess. Kyreno Irving, shout out him. Overcome creative block. Take a break, take a step back. It's important to really enjoy your off days when you're not shooting a project. Make sure you're off. Don't overwhelm yourself. Look for things when you watch a show on Netflix. Try to not take it in as like an editor or a shooter. Try to take it in just purely as a consumer. Sometimes it's better to play dumb like that. K55 Films asks, how do you edit your footage? Adobe Premiere Pro and After Effects. Diego_Landros, the 3 in there, asks, what college did you go to for videography? I went to University of Georgia. I was actually a marketing major, so I was in a business school. I learned everything at Georgia through my internship as a student with athletics. I've said that before. That's where I learned everything. I think that's the best way to learn. Get your feet wet, you know, learn from experience, learn from people above you. You don't really need to go to classes for this, in my opinion. And like, I did the marketing major because I thought I might want to still just go and do a marketing role in an office, but I'm glad I did not. John O'Neill 04 asks, how do you find the music for your videos? Copyright is very confusing. Me and Andrew, for the vlogs, me and Goot, my buddy, have a playlist, and I use those songs, their popular music, in my videos. And I do that knowingly that I will not get monetized because I don't really care. I don't make much money off those vlogs anyway, so it's like, why not just use some popular music and not sacrifice the quality of content? But if I do want to make money off the video and I don't want it to get a copyright strike, I use Soundstripe for copyright music and royalty music. It's a license, it's like $30 a month. If you're posting on Instagram or TikTok, you can use their songs in there just as they are, and that helps you get around that. But if you put it in like an original audio, if you put it in the actual edit, then you're dabbling in like a copyright strike, and you're violating their guidelines or whatever. Fantavious Harrison asks, hardest thing about what you do? The long days and the long season is pretty tough, but that's kind of balanced out with the off season where it's a lot slower. I liken it where it's like a school teacher where it's really intensive for this part of the year, and then in the off season it's more like administrative stuff, it's more laid back and things like that. He also asked, how is your schedule structured and all? We basically have, a calendar for the next couple months, and we're made aware of any trips possibly. Now some things are pretty last minute, but we're made aware of any trips or games or things like that, or events we need to cover where travel can be booked accordingly. And then on a week-to-week basis, like a week or two out, we know what games we're going to in our own markets and what edits we're doing. Freidenberg Photo asks, how do you determine when to use auto versus manual focus for video? That's a great question. I always use manual for the most part. I have peaking on, which basically highlights whatever's in focus, and that helps me all the time. I was just taught to do manual. I understand that a lot of people weren't, and it's hard to first start out, but I highly suggest the younger you are, the more you do it, the earlier you do it, it's going to be easier, to get a hold of. The times I use auto are when I'm on a gimbal, or if I'm shooting something like this, or if I'm vlogging. Things where I can't really roll focus, I'm going to try and trust the autofocus, and I don't really trust it on the C70 a lot of the times, the camera you're watching this on, but on a Sony I trust it a lot more. It can be frustrating sometimes, but you'd rather be in manual and miss something than, the ref take your focus away from your subject, and it's not your fault. You know what I mean? Haley Monette asks, what's it like having the best girlfriend ever? Fantastic, Haley. Thank you for that question. Bright.Films asks, and this is a great question, top 5 stadium meals for media. I'm gonna lump in meals as fans as well. Number 1, I'm gonna go the press meal in Philadelphia is fantastic, undisputed, and also the fan food is great too. Petco Park has good food. Cincinnati, Great American Ballpark has good food. They got Skyline Chili, which I'm a big fan of. And then lastly, I'm gonna go AT&T Oracle Park in San Francisco, where the Giants play. Bright.Films also asks, time when you felt it was tough to shoot things, or things went wrong, but you pushed through it and made it. I think, like I said, every August, September, it gets really tough, and we all face this problem where we've worked a bunch of big events. It's hot, we've shot games 100 times over, so it's like every year I face that problem, and I think every year, gotta try something new. That's the beauty of baseball, is that you have all these games, and if you come out, you can always find a new way to tell the story. Anyways, thanks for watching this video, y'all. I hope you were able to get some value. If I did not ask your question, re-ask me in the DMs, and I will answer it for you. I'm sorry I can't get to all of them. Thanks for watching, guys, and like and subscribe if you are not already, and I'll see you on the next one.